Logan, you have led this team in tackles each of the last 3 years. You tied for the team lead in interceptions a year ago. Cincinnati knows how valuable you are to the Bengals. Do you feel like on a national level that you are maybe a little bit under the radar?
Yeah, I do. I feel like that's just part of playing here in Cincinnati. You know, I feel like we got a lot of guys that are under the radar that don't get necessarily the attention that they deserve, and that's part of it. But I try not to necessarily worry about it. You know, I kind of just let it take care of itself. In a good situation, going to be a better defense this year, and just controlling those things moving forward.
It seems like in the growth and development of your career, continuity and consistency of the coaching staff, of a lot of players. I mean, you and Pratt can, you guys can finish each other's sentences on every occasion. How big is that for excellence of performance?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, I was talking to Zac about it, I think just the other day at practice, about how it's rare to be in the same system for now my 5th year. I haven't had a different system I've had to worry about coming into camp, trying to learn all those nuances, because then some things that part of your game might become more weaknesses because you're not as worried about them right at the moment, right? You're trying to figure out the schemes, the schematics that you're being asked to do. And so coming in, knowing what's already being asked to do, you can grow, and being forward thinkers, meaning, we're thinking about what the offense is going to give us based on the formation instead of just lining up and trying to do our job, as best we can, and just kind of playing ahead of the play is kind of where Jermaine and I, being together as long as we have kind of taken our game.
You guys have had to overcome slow starts each of the last 2 years, and you've been able to do it, but obviously you'd like to avoid it.
Yeah.
Zac Taylor has said the starters will play in the preseason opener on Saturday against Tampa Bay. Then you've got joint practices against the Bears and the Colts before the next 2 preseason games. Mm-hmm. Do you think all of that is going to help the Bengals get off to a faster start?
I do, and I think that he's structuring practices a little bit right now, too, that are maybe a little more conditioning. We were talking about that, too. He was trying to see basically our mannerisms throughout practice, like how well guys are doing. If they're starting to get hands on hips, like if we're getting tired, that's when he's going to, especially the day before an off day, he's going to push it a little bit more so that our conditioning is up, and then we're not trying to have those slow starts and putting ourselves in a hole from the jump, because we can't have those. Another
C word, communication. It's huge, not just within your position group at the linebacker position, but the back end to the linebacker group, the linebacker group to the defensive line, all that communication. In your kind of like the conduit, man. You're a guy that is the trigger for a lot of that communication. Now that Von Bell's back, how big a factor is that? I mean, I've said it to everyone that's asked. He's picked up where he left off. For a guy that's already knows the system, just to come back and just insert himself right back in what he was. It's huge, especially for Jermaine and I, because a lot of times in our system, like our safeties are making a lot of coverage adjustments on the fly as motions go and as the play is going along, and when that allows Jermaine and I to do our job to make sure our D-line is right, and we can hear it at the same time what's going on the back end. And so it's a little less than what we've had to do necessarily last year. I think there was a little bit more asked of Jermaine and I just because we had younger guys in the back end. But having now 2 experienced guys in the back end has been so helpful. I mean, I'm sure you guys can hear it at practice. Like, our communication is already way better. And the old saying goes, if we're all wrong, we're all right. You can find a way to survive the down. But if we're all on different pages, then good luck.
The NFL has banned the hip drop tackle. Do you have a good understanding of how that's going to be enforced, and how hard is it to avoid that tackle?
I really don't know how well it's going to be enforced. I know it's another call in the hands of the referees to make. I don't know how consistent it's going to be. I don't know, honestly, the difference, how they're going to be able to tell the difference, because of my infamous hip drop tackle that I had last year. They came out and said my tackle would have been clean under the new rules, but I want an explanation of why mine was clean and why all the ones that they're showing weren't clean, what the difference is, because I really couldn't tell you just looking at it. And it's going to make it, I think it makes it harder to tackle guys from behind, because there's not a whole lot of other ways to bring guys down than when you're trying to drop your weight. You have to drop your weight. It's like anything with wrestling. Like, momentum's going forward. If you don't drop your weight to try to get them down, it's not good luck. So I don't know. It's gonna be a different year for sure. But I guess we'll see how it goes. Starting with preseason.
I know it's in the early stages of your installation and all, but you've been around with Lou for a while now. Do you see many tweaks? Is it okay? I believe in this core for my defensive football team. Every off season, there's going to be some adjustments, some tweaks and all that. Are there any? Are they major? Are they minor? Or is it pretty much what you guys have done the whole time you've been a Bengal?
Yeah, I mean, we're always making adjustments based on what our offense gives us and trying to adjust accordingly. We'll put in some new stuff here and there, but truthfully, a lot of what we do is game plan oriented. So a lot of the stuff we're running now is pretty. It's not basic, but it's like our version of basic within our system. And so come the season, we'll start to game plan accordingly based on who we're playing and the weapons that they have.
Last year marked the first time in 3 years you did not have an extended postseason run. I know you would prefer to have another one this year.
Yeah.
But does your body feel better at this stage of camp from not having basically an extra month of football?
Yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons to both, right? Like, obviously, you as a competitor, you want to go far in the playoffs, but then the pro side of not making it is you get a whole extra month and a half of recovery for your body, and you're never going to take those for granted, to get that extra recovery. And so it was. I definitely feel probably as good as I have since I've been in the league, and that's probably a credit to having an extra month and a half off, and then being here and working out with our strength staff all off season because my wife wanted to have the baby here. So
the AFC North is almost universally recognized as the best division, in football. If not, it's in the top couple. What is it about this division that makes it so strong in everybody's mind?
It's just tough, physical, hard-nosed football. It's almost like the new version of old school football, I feel like. With all the rules and adjustments that we've had to make to today's game, I feel like it's still got that physical, tough aspect of it that I don't. And every team is good. Every team has weapons on offense, defense, and I think that our division probably has some of the better overall defenses like in the league, and then obviously on offense you got explosive playmakers all around in Cleveland and Baltimore and Pittsburgh, and there's just not an easy game on that when you're playing anyone in our division, so we got to take them serious.
Cincinnati knows you're one of the best linebackers in the NFL. Hopefully this is the year that the nation recognizes it as well. Have a healthy season, and thanks for the time.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.